In 2018, identical twins Lucas and Mason Clarke vanished from their backyard in Millfield, Colorado during a game of hide-and-seek. 3 months later, hikers found Mason's body in a remote canyon 50 miles away. But Lucas was never found. For 7 years, the case remained cold until their mother started receiving text messages from an unknown number. Messages that could only be coming from Lucas, describing details about Mason's death that were never made public. Before you watch this video, don't forget to subscribe to Beneath Stories, because sometimes the missing aren't lost, they're hiding from what they witnessed. Millfield, Colorado, 2018. David and Jennifer Clarke lived the perfect suburban life with their 8-year-old identical twins Lucas and Mason. The boys were so identical that even their parents mixed them up. Same sandy brown hair, same bright blue eyes, same grin. The only difference was Mason's scar on his left temple from a playground accident. The twins were inseparable. They shared secret language, played elaborate games, and turned their backyard into an adventure playground. October 15th started as ordinary Saturday. The twins were playing The Great Escape, their complex version of hide-and-seek. At 2:30 p.m., Jennifer called them for lunch. Only Lucas came running. "Where's Mason?" Jennifer asked. "Still hiding," Lucas replied. "He found the best spot ever. I've been looking for 20 minutes." Jennifer called Mason's name. No response. They searched behind the shed, under the deck, in the playhouse. Mason was nowhere to be found. By 4 p.m., they called police. Detective Amanda Torres arrived at 4:30 p.m. Search teams combed the woods behind the Clarke property. K-9 units picked up both boys' scent trails, but they led to a confusing pattern. One trail headed deep into the woods for nearly 2 miles before disappearing at a creek. The other circled back toward the house, then vanished near the driveway. "It's like they separated," explained K-9 handler officer Rick Santos. "One boy went into the woods, the other came back. But we can't find either at the trail's end." Lucas provided the only clues. He said Mason had been hiding while he counted to 100 at their oak tree. When finished, he'd searched all Mason's usual spots but couldn't find him. But something didn't add up. Lucas claimed he'd been searching for 20 minutes. But neighbors heard both boys playing around 2:15 p.m., just 15 minutes before Lucas came inside. The search intensified over following days. Volunteers joined professionals. Helicopters searched from above. The story made regional news. Despite massive efforts, no trace of the twins was found. 3 months later, on January 8, 2019, hikers found Mason's body in Rocky Mountain National Park, 50 miles from Millfield. The location was shocking, a remote canyon accessible only by hiking trail, not somewhere an 8-year-old could reach alone. Mason's body was at the bottom of a 200-foot cliff. The coroner suggested he had fallen, but circumstances were puzzling. How had Mason traveled 50 miles? Why was he alone? Where was Lucas? The medical examiner revealed troubling details. Mason had survived outdoors for several days before death. He had defensive wounds on hands and arms, suggesting struggle before falling. At the cliff top, investigators found tracks indicating 2 people had been there. Small footprints consistent with children. Signs of struggle in dirt near the edge. Detective Torres faced a disturbing possibility: Lucas might have been present when Mason died, and Mason's death might not have been accidental. With Mason's body found but Lucas still missing, the case transformed. One twin was dead under mysterious circumstances. The other was still missing, possibly for 3 months longer than anyone realized. Crime scene investigators found evidence supporting struggle theory. The ground near cliff edge showed disturbance, scattered rocks, disturbed soil, scuff marks consistent with physical altercation. Forensic experts analyzed every piece of evidence. The footprints were photographed and measured. Soil samples were taken. The investigation expanded to examine how two children could have traveled from Millfield to the national park. But despite extensive investigation, no evidence explained how twins reached the remote location or what happened to Lucas after Mason's death. Without Lucas's body or additional evidence, the case went cold. Official conclusion: both twins somehow left their backyard, traveled to Rocky Mountain National Park, and Mason died in accidental fall. Lucas was presumed dead. The Clarke family never accepted this. David and Jennifer spent their savings on private investigators, organized search parties, maintained website dedicated to finding Lucas. They hired missing children organizations, attended conferences, pursued every possible lead. Jennifer took permanent leave from teaching. David threw himself into work. The house felt like museum of loss. Mason's bedroom remained exactly as he'd left it. Lucas's side was maintained equally, shrine to missing child. For 7 years, the Clarke family lived in suspended grief, unable to fully mourn because questions remained unanswered. March 23, 2025, 7 years after Mason's funeral, Jennifer Clarke received text from unknown number. Mom, I know you miss Mason. I miss him too. But I can't come home yet. I'm not ready to tell everyone what really happened at the cliff. Jennifer stared at message, heart racing. She called the number, straight to voicemail. She texted back, "Who is this?" Response came an hour later, "You know who this is, Mom. I'm sorry I've been gone so long. I'm sorry about Mason. I'm sorry about everything." The messages contained details never made public. References to the cliff had been kept confidential by police. Jennifer showed David. They called retired Detective Torres, who agreed messages warranted investigation. The confidential details suggested inside knowledge of Mason's death. Over following weeks, Jennifer received more messages revealing specific details. Mason didn't fall by accident, Mom. We were fighting. He was going to tell everyone what we saw in the woods. I pushed him. I didn't mean for him to fall. The man in the woods told us never to tell anyone. Mason wanted to tell Dad. I tried to stop him. I've been living in the woods since then. The man taught me how to survive. He said if I came home, police would arrest me. Detective Torres traced the messages. Prepaid phone purchased with cash in Denver. No surveillance footage available. The message content captured Torres's attention. The sender described cliff details never released publicly. He knew about defensive wounds, struggle marks, evidence only police had seen. Most convincingly, messages described twins' relationship from insider perspective, secret language, elaborate games, family details difficult for outsiders to discover. As messages continued, disturbing picture emerged of October 15, 2018. According to sender claiming to be Lucas, twins had been playing hide and seek but wandered deeper into woods. There they witnessed something that changed everything. We saw the man burying something. Mason wanted to get closer. I tried to pull him away. The man saw us watching. He made us come with him. Said if we told anyone, he would hurt our family. The man had kept them in mountain cabin for days. Mason wanted to escape and tell police. Lucas was too scared. Mason kept saying we had to escape and tell Dad. I was terrified. I knew the man would find us and hurt everyone we loved. Mason had convinced Lucas to attempt escape. They'd reached cliff area while trying to find home. But Mason insisted they return immediately to tell police. I was afraid the man would find us. Mason said I was being coward. We started fighting. Mason tried to run toward trail. I grabbed him to stop him. We wrestled near edge. I didn't mean to push him so hard. Detective Torres requested identity proof. Response came with photograph, young man appearing mid-teens, with sandy brown hair and blue eyes resembling Clarke twins. Most convincing proof came as specific memories only Lucas would know. Remember the fort behind garden shed when we were 6? We carved our initials in support beam under floor. Mine on left, Mason's on right. We never told anyone. David immediately checked undisturbed fort. Inside, exactly as described, were childish initials, LC, on left, MC, on right. Remember Mason's scar? I gave him that when we were 4 playing pirates. I accidentally hit him with stick. I cried harder than he did because I felt guilty. This detail never appeared in police reports or news stories. Only family knew specific circumstances of Mason's scar. The accumulation of private family details plus confidential police knowledge built compelling evidence. Messages came from Lucas Clarke. Over following months, messages became more detailed. Lucas provided information about mysterious kidnapper. His name was Carl Hoffman. He had cabin near Red Rocks. After Mason fell, he found me crying at cliff bottom. Said if I ever told anyone what happened, he would kill our whole family. Hoffman kept me 3 more weeks, teaching me to survive in woods. Said I could never go home, but if I learned to live alone in mountains, he would leave our family alone. Detective Torres investigated Carl Hoffman. Found man matching description, arrested for drug trafficking in 2019. Hoffman had died in federal prison in 2023. Lucas had witnessed Hoffman burying drug shipments in woods behind their house. The twins had seen something they weren't supposed to see. With Hoffman dead, Lucas indicated he was finally ready to come home. But remained terrified of facing consequences for Mason's death. Torres arranged meeting at Boulder Public Park. Jennifer and David arrived on time. Torres positioned officers nearby out of sight. They waited 2 hours. Lucas never appeared. That evening, Jennifer received message, "I saw the police cars, Mom. I'm not ready yet. But I want you to know I'm okay. I've learned to take care of myself." Through continued messages, Torres and Clarke family worked to convince Lucas he wouldn't be prosecuted for Mason's accidental death, especially given kidnapping circumstances and his age at the time. The messages revealed Lucas had spent 7 years surviving in remote mountain areas, moving constantly, living off land and occasional theft. He'd grown up alone, always afraid, carrying burden of brother's death and family's grief. September 12, 2025, nearly 7 years after Mason's death, Lucas Clarke finally came home. The reunion took place at Colorado Springs Police Station. Jennifer and David saw their son for first time since he was 8. He was now 15, tall and lean from outdoor living, with remembered blue eyes but carrying weight of experiences no child should endure. Lucas's account was consistent with messages. He and Mason had witnessed Carl Hoffman burying drugs. Hoffman kidnapped them to prevent reporting. After escaping, their argument about returning home had turned physical. Mason's death was accidental. Child psychologists worked with Lucas to help readjust and process trauma. Legal system focused on rehabilitation rather than prosecution, recognizing extraordinary circumstances. Today, Lucas Clarke lives with parents in New Colorado home. Family has found ways to honor Mason's memory while helping Lucas build future. The Clarke twins case became study in how childhood trauma and fear can create seemingly impossible situations. Lucas spent 7 years believing he was protecting family by staying away, when absence was causing immeasurable pain. For Clarke family, Lucas's return brought both joy and continued grief. Mason's death remained tragic, but Lucas's survival offered resolution they'd never dared hope for. The messages came from guilt, love, and time that finally made him ready to come home. Anonymous communication gave him way to reach out while protecting himself from feared consequences. Lucas's story challenges assumptions about missing children. Sometimes they're driven away by circumstances beyond control and kept away by fear they don't understand. The surviving twin learned that guilt and fear can create effective prisons. But love and patience can eventually overcome deeply held terror. Thank you for watching this investigation into Lucas and Mason Clarke's case. Subscribe to Beneath Stories for more cases revealing complex truths behind missing persons investigations. Because sometimes the missing aren't lost, they're hiding from truth they're afraid to tell.